Lift off. And the clock has started.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Go.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes, here in the old terraced house at the end of the street, on the corner of the thing, beside the what's-it that's leaning slightly too much over the you-know-what. Yes, here he is, at the dawn of whatever it was that the dawn happened to be creating. And I'm here on my little euphemism. Anyway, it is the 13th of August 2021. It's lovely to be here on this fantastic, wonderful, sun-drenched day here in Tenerife, on a tin on a cat roof. No, wait, I'm in Worthing, where it has been okay today. Bit cloudy first thing, then a bit nothing. And then the sun came out and said, "Here, Dad, can I borrow a fiver?" I said, "No, get out there." Then the globe in the sky, that big orb of yellowness with its radiating light, came whooshing all over us, and we all went, "Here, make sure you've got factor 50 on, or your head'll explode." They always say that to me, that my head will explode if I haven't got enough sun cream on to make myself look like a walnut whip. And it's true. Many a time I've had my head explode, yes, and I've had to scrape the brains off the wall. Frankly, it's better than wallpaper. It's very nice, but it does pong a bit. Yes, old brains pong in the sun. Anyway, that's the lyrics of a song that I'm writing, ladies and gentlemen, which I may release in 2026 when it will be ready. I need to practice the art of playing an instrument of some description, maybe the harp. I can see myself doing a little bit of grunge music with a harp. Twang, 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 twang. Sorry. Twang, 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 twang. Oh, my head exploded. Twang, 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 twang. When I put on too much factor 50. Twang, 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 twang. And the wallpaper turned grey. Twang, twang, twang. It's very grunge, isn't it? It's very grunge. I mean, it's not quite rock and roll. It's not quite house. It's a bit garage. It's more front room. But to be honest with you, it's master bedroom. That's the kind of music I like. A little bit of master bedroom on the show, and nobody can deny it. You can try. You can blooming well do your best to say, oh, no, I don't like any of that.
Oh, no, sir. I don't like that, sir. Thanks, sir.
Shut up, Eric. Nobody asked you. Anyway, welcome along to the show. It's very nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming along this evening. It's been phantasmagorical so far. Oh, there are people out there in the land of, which is great to see you. Thank you very much for stepping onto the Vobosphere. We will be launching any second now with a few TARDIS sound effects. I'm not quite sure where we're going, because a bit like the Doctor, I have got the controls, but I really don't know how to use them, and my sonic screwdriver is veering to the left. I must get it repaired. It's not got a Phillips head on it. It's a Posi drive. Yes. I don't know who writes this rubbish. Anyway, welcome along. Let's find out who is in the Vobosphere with the roll call, and we'll go whizzing back to the very beginning of time when out of the primeval swamp crawled... No, that's not fair. The lovely Julia. Oh, yes, well, she was the first in, you see. And then, hard on her heels, Ernie Samet is coming out there. Good evening. He says, today I had a tax refund of £666. And he's sending it all to me as a gesture of goodwill. Oh, isn't that nice? Thank you so much. I'll, of course, put it towards my own tax bill, and that would be handy. Ernie Samet also says good evening to Julia and Judith and all the viewers. Toolpodge Rog is out there, and Alison O'Brien, who says, I'm not feeling that tired today, but my knees are still in a lot of pain. My doctor has said that I must have had a sterilised injection on Wednesday. Yes, you will be sterilised on Wednesday, Alison. We can make you better, but you will be sterilised. Every part of you will be as clean as a whistle. For whistles are renowned to be clean until somebody blows in them. For once you have blown into a whistle, it will fill with bile and the pea will turn pink. Radioactive pink, so you need to be sterilised, my dear. And we have needles this long. That's nearly 2 foot in English money. So, yes, something to look forward to then, Alison. A nice bit of sterilisation in the old kneecap. I do apologise to think about whatever it is I just mentioned. It does sound pretty grim. Daniel Watkins is also out there. Hello to you. Chris Navad, who's not been here for a while, he says, just back from the Derbyshire High Peaks. I was right at the top, wobbled a bit, but nearly fell. Glad that you came back in one piece. He says, Surrey is rather dull by comparison. Oh, I bet it is. They're a millionaire's house down there. Oh, look, another millionaire's house down there. Oh, billionaire's park over there with electric fences that you can't get through. Yes, whereas in the high peaks of the Dales, it's a ladle, 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 ooh, ladle, 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 ooh. Who are you calling an old lady with a yoo-hoo? If you have your answered, I'm an old man with a bit of goo-woo. It's my leg, you know. It's got a little bit of cramp in it. Anyway, nice to see you, by the way. Tall Pod Rog, I may have mentioned, may not have mentioned, can't remember. Colonel Crag Ratty is off to Amberley Chalk Pit Museum in Sussex tomorrow for a steampunk theme, all dressed in his finest attire. Ooh. I wonder if his finest attire, by the way, in any shape or form, looks a bit like... Let's have a look. Do you look a bit like this, young fella, my lad? Here he is. This is Colonel Crag Ratty with his one and only... Can you ride that, by the way, the penny farthing? It looks lovely. Love to have a penny farthing myself, or a tuppence halfpenny would do. What a beautiful bike that is. But it doesn't seem to be operated by steam, which is no good. Is there another one in there? Oh, no, that's the art gallery picture. We don't need that. I thought maybe you'd sent more than one. Hang on, how do we get back to the show? No, stop that. Stop it. Goodness sake, mucking about. Who's mucking about? I'll have him. Let's not go into the old Grimsdale routine today. Right, okay, turn that off. Let's find out. Anyway, that was Colonel Crag Ratty. He's always very welcome. Sit down on a punk of steam and relapse for a while. Who else have we got there? Mark Burgess, he says, sorry, he didn't see the latest postie. Apologise and condolences. Yes, poor old Ernie getting all that cash. Station Master's Choice has turned up, which is very nice. Audrey Forbes, we've got Anna Jones, we've got Kerry Baldwin, Henry Ashincourt, Anna Jones. We've got Alan Sandell, which is nice to see you. Judith, good evening to you, Judith, who has been in touch with the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi and said,
Here, are you coming down to see me sometime? I'm going to put a date in the diary, because otherwise you're just not going to turn up. I don't believe you're real.
I am real, Judith, I am. And I will bring you a fresh blue spanner. How about that? Oh, the generosity that comes out of my mouth. We also have Simon. He says, good evening. Good evening to you, Simon. Very nice to see you. I'm here again. Yes, I can see you. Thank you very much. That's good. Just sit in the corner and keep your toupee straight. Thank you. Audrey Forbes, I may have mentioned, Jackie HW is multitasking as usual, watching TVS whilst cooking dinner and doing 101 other things. We want to know what the other 101 things are, because I reckon after 26 you run out. You're doing them, you're just not aware that you're doing them. I mean, we're all breathing, we're making our heart pump round our body, the pulse is doing its business, the eyes are dilating. Oh, it's the Vobes, the heart throbbing. Oh, bless the little Vobie and his balded-headedness. We know how it runs. Steve Barker is out there. Dr. Dereer, or something. I get what that means. Daily Walker, hello to you. Very nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. Take a seat. Not that one. It's got reserved written on it. For goodness sake, Can't you read? Can't you read, dear boy? Bonnie H says, what colour is that shirt? Is it ox blood? No, it's Ox Ram. I got it from Oxfam. Well, it was an Ox family anyway. And yes, unfortunately, one of them snagged their necks on a bit of barbed wire just as I was crossing in my lovely white silken shirt, and this is what happened. Oh, I know, it's tragic, isn't it? It is tragic. Cry your eyes. Oh, tell me how terrible it is that a little ball should have its neck switched open and all the blood should come out and stain my shirt. Still, it made a nice shirt for the show, so we don't mind if the bull died in a horrible agonising death. It will just lie there for several weeks. No, that's not very nice. Stop it. Stop mucking about. Stop mucking. I said no more Normans, thank you. It wasn't Norman, was it? Might have been. I don't know who it was, to be honest with you. Are we nearly at the end of this? Justin Jones, Lisa L, happy Friday the... oh, my. You've done it now. Friday the 13th. It was Friday the 13th of August 2021. And down in the crypt, the coffins were rattling. The teeth of the deceased were chattering. And plans were being made by a smattering of lesser-known people, mainly milkmen, to be honest with you. They were just milkmen going, what round are we doing tomorrow, Saturday morning? Are you doing the A round? Are you? I can't remember. I can't get my electric milk float to start. Where's the horse? We used to have an horse in the old days. Oh, I remember when we had an horse. Yes, we used to feed it 5 apples and it would go like the clappers. Like the clappers down there. The milk was... Well, it was falling out and staining the road white. And then, what would you think? Back in the day, a bull would come galloping down from the fields, its neck cut, blood dripping over the white, and we had strawberry milkshake. It was lovely. The kids came out licking it up. They were licking it up like little Larry. Larry the Lamb, that is, until that awful American woman got her hand up there and started... I can't remember her name. Anyway, let's not get into that. Sean James Cameron. Can you sing it, Richard, he says. Can you sing it? Can't remember what it was that I was allegedly supposed to be singing. Bonnie says she's got her spare saxophone. Oh, what with the... Yes, of course, the Song of the Miseries, or whatever it was. David Vad is Trixadophobia. Yes, we've all got a bit Trixadophobia, haven't we? If you've got a bit of Trixadophobia, don't come near me. Don't come near me with that Trixadophobia. I mean, I haven't got a surgical mask. I've got a deep-sea diving brass helmet that I wear when Trixophobians come over. Are you a Trixophobian? Okay. I'll take that as no. Good. Audrey says, yes, Bonnie. Yes, Bonnie. Apple pie. Jackie says that was Ernie with his milk cart. Could have been. Mark Burgess is... I may have mentioned Mark Burgess. Andrew Norris is out there. Rachel T. Yes, we are getting there. Wrong Landley. As, right. Wrong. What? Wrong again. Wrong. Oh, never mind. I meant to say that... Have you spent it before you've... Sean James, I've got home. Anyway, there we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to be here. Thank you very much for joining me. The show has just begun. Let's go into the... Because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of very interesting videos. We do. We're going to start. I don't normally do this, but we're going to start with a bit of music. Yay! Because Raymond, good old Raymond from up in Horsham, you know, we always leave him till last. He probably doesn't tune in now till right at the end of the show going, I suppose he will play my music. I have recorded it for him. I suppose he will do it. So probably, you know, sits there with a glass of Vino Calypso and waits for the end of the show when I normally do it. But today, we're going to have the Ray of Hope. And something from the 60s, ladies and gentlemen, to keep us entertained and on our toes. Get ready to tap your heels.
And now, from a famous song or tune from the 1960s.
And there it is, the wonderful Telstar, ladies and gentlemen. The wonderful Telstar there from good old Rev Hope. We hope you enjoy the show, and I mean that most sincerely. Opportunity knocks. Do you remember Opportunity Knocks with Huey Green? Opportunity knocks. Yes. Get off! Oh. Ray of Hope there, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Ray. It was very nice to see that and listen to it at the same time. And your fingers never left the keyboard, notice. Although I would like to have seen it on a harp with the grunge style, but you can't have everything. Anyway, there we are. Big round of applause for Ray, and I don't know if Ray's actually out there. He probably comes at the end of the show going, "Did you play my music? Did you actually play it?" But don't worry, we will talk about giant hogweed instead, if that's what you so wish. No, brilliant. Thank you so much. That's very nice. What's Telstar, says Sean James Cameron. What is it? What is it? What is Telstar? Well, I think you can tell which star it is by looking up at the sky, and if it winks at you more than 3 times, you know your luck is in tonight. You can get your coat you pulled, you see. Bonnie says, loved Opportunity Knocks, and I mean that most sincerely, folks. Yeah, it's funny. I used to like Opportunity Knocks, and then along came Pop Idol and all those sort of things where suddenly the backstory was everything, and it wasn't so much what you see on the screen, that poor little noddy old woman with curly hair and the false teeth and the jangling earrings and the knocking knees and the drooping you-knows. That doesn't matter anymore. No. And the fact that she can gargle her way through a star-spangled banner, that's irrelevant. As long as we get her backstory about how she was on a precipice and it was going to go this way or that, but the Damocles sword swung past and nearly chopped out her adenoids. And that's where the drama comes in. So then when you've got Simon Cowell and the rest of the other grisly members of the jury going,
Yeah, I think you're just a silly old woman, aren't you? With stupid teeth and gangly this and droopy. Have you got any talent, woman? Have you? Dare you come up in front of us, the judges? Dare you even start to open your trap and make some noise with gargling equipment when you're just a knurled old shrimp?
yeah. And that wasn't Simon Cowell. That was the nice smiley one on the end who wrote children's books after being in the that comedy thing, Little Britain, whose name I cannot now for the moment bring to mind. He doesn't need any more whatever. Anyway, that was... but yes, Opportunity Knocks, it was all about what you could do. And I mean that most sincerely, folks. And he meant it most sincerely, apparently. Anyway, that was that. I don't know why we got onto that. There was something else. Oh, yes, of course. Don't forget.
Sat on a ferret the other day. I sat on a ferret in the month of May. I sat on a ferret.
Sat on a ferret.
You are watching the Vobes show. Call us now on 0793 4746 790. We're waiting to hear from you.
We are waiting to hear, and somebody has actually rung in. Hello, caller. Yes, that's very true. No. If you don't speak, I can't hear you. Oh, you're going to tell me a dirty joke? All right, go for it. Yeah, down the pub, yeah. And had what? No, yeah. And, oh, no, you can't say that on public broadcast internet thing. I'm going to have you removed. I'm going to have your voice surgically taken out of this recording. Yes, there. Luckily, nobody else heard him but me. If you want to give us a call on 07934746790, you'd be very welcome to, but next time you do call, do actually stay on the line. It's usually the best thing, and then that way I can actually talk to you. It'd be lovely to have a conversazione. So if it was you, ring back, my baby, ring back to me. I want to wring its neck. No, I don't want to wring its neck. The Invisible Man, yes. Who watched The Invisible Man? Do you remember that with Iri Kyriakin? No, not Iri Kyriakin. That was the character he played in that other programme that I can't now possibly remember. Men from U.N.C.L.E. What was the actor's name who played Eerie, Curious, Acton? Action. And he's what was his name? He had all that mop of hair on his head. And no wonder he was invisible. You couldn't see him under that mop of hair, that lovely blonde mop of hair. David McCullum, thank you very much. Mark Burgess got in first. The Man from Carbuncle. Yeah, that was the Rival series, wasn't it? The English version was the sort of low-budget version, The Men from Carbuncle. Henry Ashencourt says, never did see him. No, I'm not surprised. Bonnie says Brentford just scored. Who's about Brentford nylons? Do you remember Brentford nylons? Did anyone ever buy any Brentford nylons? And what would you do with them? I imagine, a gang of blokes buying Brentford nylons would have, obviously back in the day, have been bank robbers. That was very nice. Sean James Cameron says, tried watching The Invisible Man, couldn't see anything into it. No, I quite agree. I preferred, says he, The Fugitive. Yes, that was one of those Police 5-0 series, wasn't it? Where Keep Them Peeled, Shaw Taylor would go dashing off looking for somebody to be the eye peeler. Have you seen the eye peeler? He's gone into many people's houses and he takes out their eyes and peels them. If you see him, let us know. Keep them peeled. I like The Persuaders, says Kerry Baldwin. I used to like The Persuaders. They were good. And I do know that some of the episodes are actually on the Tube of Views, and I have watched a few of them. It's a great fun. Mark Burgess says stag do costumes. Do they? I've never seen a stag in a costume, but thank you very much for that. Dave says shows snuff. Right. Danger Man was the predecessor to The Prisoner, says Paul Cockrell. Yes, if you ever saw the original pilot episode of The Prisoner, or the first episode, I suppose, you kind of get the crossover bit, don't you, where they take him off because he was Danger Man, Secret Service, and then they and all. Yes, I saw a few of them at the time. It didn't really appeal to me. I thought it was a bit pathetic with that big ball chasing him, which just seemed to be a big air balloon. But there we are. The Champions. Yes, I used to like Champions. That was quite good. Kerry Baldwin says, I shall have to find them on the Tube of Us. Yes, you must. On the Tube of Views, they're definitely there. The Persuaders. It was great fun. Michael Thornley, bless his socks of cottonness, has said The Bill with PC Vobes was a favourite. Oh yes, that was I was the white shirt behind frosted glass at the end of the corridor. Remember that episode? Oh, I did that white shirt behind the frosted glass at the end of the corridor many times. I almost won a BAFTA for it. Yeah. Daily Walker says, did you ever watch Screen Test with John Craven? Not with John Craven, but with Michael Rodd. Screen Test, wasn't it? It was a sort of marching band theme, if I remember that. Used to love the music to Danger Man. Yeah, Danger Man was good. Danger Mouse was just as good. And Brentford Nylons, the advert used to be presented by DJ Alan Fluff Freeman. There we are. Everybody's a winner in tonight's show. Thank you very much. Who rang earlier, by the way? Who dialed the number and is not dialing back now? That would be interesting. I'd love to have a nice conversation this evening. However, whilst you're thinking about picking up the phone, we will go back into the old... into the video box, because we have a newcomer. Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I don't know if you're actually out there typing away because I haven't seen your name come up, but it'll be interesting. This is a gentleman who is a radio presenter and worked in Kent for, I think he said Invicta FM and then the Heart Brands. I'm sorry to hear that. I used to work for the Heart Brands, but less of that said the better. And he's now in Ireland because he's Irish, you see. His name Mahar at all, like you don't know what I mean. Very lovely film by Carl Keegan, and he's having a look at Black Rock Castle. And if you know where Black Rock Castle is, you'll know all about this.
Hi, everyone in the Vobesphere. My name is Carl Keegan and welcome to Cork here in Ireland, more specifically the suburb of Blackrock where I live. And I thought, I've seen Richard make videos, and I've seen other people make videos, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a go at that. But the thing we've come to see today isn't me, or indeed this mural behind me. It is in fact what Blackrock here in Cork is famous for. And it's that. This is Blackrock Castle. have to talk about first of all is castles in Ireland generally. Most are in ruins, and they're not the same generation as Blackrock Castle. Most were built in the sort of 1100s, 1200s in the Norman times, and some were built by the Vikings, particularly down towards Waterford City, for instance. But this one wasn't. This one was built at the end of the 1500s, in the 16th century, by a request of the people of Cork. Now, one of the problems in the 1500s for the River Lee, adjacent to the now castle, was piracy and river robbery. In fact, many goods weren't making it into the city about 4 kilometres behind me, and this became an issue. At the time, Ireland was ruled by the British, and the ruling monarch at the time, Queen Elizabeth I, was asked by the people of Cork for a fortification to be built at the river so that they could ensure that their goods get through and to deal with pirates. So the request was put in and accepted by the then ruling monarch, Queen Elizabeth I, and she agreed that a castle be built. And at the end of the 1500s, the castle was indeed built and still stands today. However, it's not all the original castle. There's some new brickwork been put on it over the years. It's had various owners as well. And it's not a very big castle either. It's not like for keeping kings and queens in. It's quite small and was really built for fortification purposes against piracy, as I said, along the river. And so it's not a huge castle. And but there is some other unique properties to this castle, because unlike most castles in Ireland, which are sort of maintained by a government body called the Office of Public Works, this one is not. It is still owned sort of by a public body, but for a very different purpose. So here we are on the other side of the castle. As you can see, the River Lee is tidally influenced, obviously, and it's out at the minute. It's not due in for a little while yet. But as you can see, the castle has a telescope in it. And as I was mentioning earlier, it's not owned, the castle, by the normal people, the Office of Public Works. This is in fact owned by what was Cork Institute of Technology, and I think they're now called NYU. And they have an active telescope there that is used for real science. Indeed, there is a science shop and also an astronomy shop, and also classes that go on in there for school kids and stuff. So it is an active observatory and used for real science. So I've cycled my way back to the docks, and here at the marina in Blackrock Village where I live. Listen, thank you very much for watching the video, and thank you very much to Richard. If he puts it up on his show, I would be honoured. I'm not sure about the video editing. If the truth be told, this is the second time I've done this video completely. I did it 2 days ago and I wasn't very happy with it. The weather wasn't as nice and I kind of prattled on, and I tried to do Blackrock Village in the same video as Blackrock Castle, and the video ended up at 11 minutes, and I thought, well, that's not very suitable. The only difference about today is that there's a bit of a breeze today, so that might be getting on the camera, so my apologies for that. So anyway, listen, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that you all stay safe and that you enjoyed it, and take care out there. Bye bye.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know if we've had many videos in about Ireland, but that was lovely. Lovely to see a bit of Cork and a bit of Blackrock. And thank you, Carl, for sending it in. He said he was a bit nervous about sending it in, but it's absolutely brilliant. We look forward to some more videos from you, Carl. That would be great. It's nice to have all different parts of this wonderful part of the world up here in the top western hemisphere. Although if you want to go to Antarctica and make a video, you're very welcome. We'd also like to show that if you don't mind just taking a small rubber dinghy down there. You can take Eric. He's very good at holding things, not quite icicles probably down there is about the limit of his capacity. But anyway, there we are. Thank you very much. Wonderful to see. And what an interesting castle now, an observatory with a telescope doing real science. None of that fake science that the government seem to be listening to, but real science, and that's what we like. So there we go. Wasn't that brilliant? Thank you very much for all the good comments out there, welcoming a new video contributor to us. That's what we do need to do, of course, is give everybody a nice warm welcome, because we're a friendly club here. Club? Are we a club? Club Vobes. No, not literally. Don't literally club Vobes. That would be dreadful. Thank you so much for that. What a star you are. Oh, why isn't that doing the thing? Anyway, yeah, you're watching The Vobes Show. I'm Richard Vobes, and it's coming up to just after the time it was when I first looked at it. It's about 20:35 here, or 8:35, depending on whatever it is, the expression that you like to use when looking at a clock. We are looking forward to your phone calls. Get it off your chest this evening. Get it off your chest. It's the end of the week. 0793 4746790. Is there something in the news that you want to talk about? Is there something that's making you a little bit, I want a good argument? Call the Vobes. Very happy to have a conversation with you. As you know, I will bite your head off. I mean, I won't bite your head off. There we are. Opportunity not for Carl. Indeed it did. Thank you very much. I prefer club biscuits, says Sean James Cameron. Do like club biscuits, especially the purple ones with the fruit in it. You can fool yourself that they're actually doing you some good. That's how I used to do it. But of course, I very rarely eat anything sugary now. Thank you very much to Sean James Cameron for those delicious cakes, by the way. Not that I've eaten them, but they did get into the sarcophagus through injections, I think. Michael White says, if you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, you can join our club. That's very true. Do give us a call, 07934746790, as we head towards the weekend. What are you doing? Are you doing anything nice this weekend? I'm taking next week off, by the way. I mean, I'm not taking off. You can't get out of the country, can you? You can't go anywhere. Or if you do go anywhere, the only way to come back is on a rubber dinghy. Seems to be the safest way to come back into the UK these days. You don't need a passport, and you don't need to self-isolate at the end of it, which is makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It'd be nice to go to Ireland. Where would you like to go? If you could go anywhere in the world, not somewhere you've been, but where you would like to go and you've never been, where would it be and why? That's what we want to find out on that. And we were talking about bucket lists as well the other day. We didn't get off the ground. Bucket list. If you could do anything you want, what would it be? What is the most extreme thing you would like to do, but not what you've done? Don't want to hear what you've done. I want to hear what you haven't done, what you would like to do. Sean James Cameron says the Inca Trail. Oh, is there a trail of Incas? Is that what? Is that like a bunch of people with like monks with feathers, quills, and pots of ink, and they draw on sort of what do you call that? Papyrus? Is it papyrus? And you follow the Inca trail. Hey, it's an Italian one, obviously. Hey, follow the monks, the Inca trail. He's ridden a load of arrows all over the place. Yeah, it could be nice. Michael White says, Japan, I love samurai history with their... Ha-ha! I got a samurai sword here. You're up. That's not very Japanese, is it? No. I've got a samurai sword. It's still not Japanese. So I beg your pardon. Hang on, let me try one more time. Ha-ha! I've got a samurai... No, it's not working tonight. No, that would be interesting. That would be great. The Appalachians, says Kerry Baldwin. That would be nice. You get a lot of apples on the Appalachians, don't you? I wonder if they're cooking apples or coxes. You don't want a lot of coxes, do you? Otherwise, you might be able to sit down for a while. Sean also now mentions Pachu, Squetchen would be quite... Piku, Machu... I don't know how you pronounce that. Could you do it in English so then you give, a presenter some chance of actually pronouncing it would be nice. Henri, he says, lovely place, Japan, great people. Ah, there we are. See, he knows all about the Appalachian Mountains then. And Michael Thornley says, England, actually. Being an Aussie, good day there, sport, call that a knife. I am with the English heritage. Ah, yes, bless you. You keep following the Bald Explorer and I'll keep dodging the heritage. Don't you worry about that. Alan Williams is talking about some topical news, which is nice. Where's Rachel then? What did Rachel... Did I miss Rachel saying something? Going for a walk with an alpaca. Oh, yes, and a samurai sword.
Why, you little alpaca, have you got TSB? That's the bank for me. I put all my deposits in an alpaca as soon as I've made the slit to get the money in.
Shake it and you can get the money out at the same time. Might be covered in red. The reason is that it bumped into a bull that had had its neck split. This is a bit of a violent show, isn't it? Yes, that's right. It is a bit of a violent show. Machachu Pikachu, says Audrey Forbes. What the hell is it? What is Machu Picchu? What is that? What is it? I'm confused. Confused at Vobes.com. Anne Wright says, I'd like to go to Tesco's in Cornwall to see the Botanic Garden and then walk down to the sandy beach. Well, that's very nice. I'm sure every little helps down there. And Alison O'Brien says, I'd like to take a flight in one of those balloons. Not just any old balloon, but in one of those balloons. Oh, hello. Are you one of them? Are you one of them? Are you? Are you one of them? I'd like to go in one of your balloons, if I may. Yeah, still mucking about. Elaine Whitelock, on the other hand, says, I want to go on the Orient Express and go deep, deep into the Orient. Are we allowed to say Orient these days? I don't think we're allowed to do that anymore, are we? I don't think there is such a place as the Orient, is it? Or am I ranting about something different? I thought we weren't, it's like, are we allowed to say Persians? There's no such thing as Persians anymore. They're Persian slippers and things like that. Is that not... I mean, I can't keep up with everything. Once they changed the name of Constantinople into whatever it was, Uruguay, I get very confused. I mean, the globe is continually changing, which is very bizarre. Ray of Hope says, we're planning to go to Japan in 2020. Oh, good luck. You might see those summer games that they've got over there. But there's going to be a cherry blossom time, but COVID stopped us and it was all cancelled. Oh. All together now. Oh, bloody COVID. It's like they're using it as an excuse to stop people doing things. Have you noticed that? Because of COVID. It's almost like BC. Well, there was a time before COVID, Oh, yes, life was ordinary, BC. But now it's annoying... what would be AD then? After descent. After the descent of... Well, it's all these... you know what I mean? Can't say it. You can get away with mime, apparently. You can do all the political stuff now, by the way, in mime. As long as you don't actually say anything, you can just imply it, all with a bit of mime, because I went to mime school, ladies and gentlemen, in the mid-'80s when Chernobyl blew up. Yeah, we all got radiated and our hair fell out. It's terrible. But the sheep were... they all loved it because they just followed one another and just went, bah, we don't care. When we retired, the plan was to go for 3 months. Says Bonnie. Well, that's nice. It's always good for going for 3 months. And Sean James says, I will be with you in cherry blossom time. I will be with you. I'll be with you to chance your name to yes, good for you. Leighton Buzzard. Sorry, Leighton Orient. Where's that? Where's Leighton Orient? Is that near Leighton Buzzard? There's a buzzard flying overhead, you know. Apparently you can visit Chernobyl now, says Bonnie H. Quite why you would want to. Oh, there's a nice nuclear reactor down the road. You may have heard of it. Oh, yes, I've heard of it. Here's my husband. He worked in his teeth. We don't have to put the light on at night, you see. He radiates. And also, if you've got a cat's whisker, you can get Radio 4 and the Home Service from 1939. It's quite handy. You can hear Winston Churchill on some nights saying, "We will fight them on the beaches and the landing grounds. We will never surrender unless we get COVID, and then we'll just give in to everybody because we can't be bothered." Poor old Winston. What would he make of this situation? He'd be turning in his grave, would he not? He'd be turning. They'd be, oh, you know, the Chinese, they've given us this stuff, and now we're all just going to capitulate. We're all going to go on it. We're not going to fight on the beaches. We're going to let these little chaps come in on the little rubber dinghies. We'll just roll over now. Roll over. And they all rolled over, and the one fell out and said, "What the hell are we doing to this country?" But it was too late. He was out then and drowned in the sea. Station Master Choice said, "I thought Chernobyl was leaking again." Oh, I know, it leaks all the time. Yes, this time it's just leaking cherry blossom. Little cherry blossoms are coming out. That's the thing. Lisa says there's the most beautiful crescent moon tonight as I watch the show. I didn't know I'd bent over. But thank you very much, Lisa. That's very kind of you. Very nice of you to mention it. It is time now, ladies and gentlemen, for another video. Oh, we're so lucky. What have we got here? Bernie has been to a place where he was born and bred, I understand. Yes, on the top of the world. No, not over there at Blossom Country. Not up there on where Chris Bonington went clambering up at some hill, Bonington Castle, was it? No, he has gone to Hastings. Not hastily, I can tell you. Bernie, let's have a look.
If you ask me what the hell I'm doing here, I haven't got the faintest idea. I decided on the way back from filming my Three Rivers project that I'd got to come through Hastings, and I don't think we've seen any videos of Hastings recently on the Vobes show, so I thought I'd better take a little video. I suppose it's about 7:15 in the morning, and the sun is rising above the fire hills there. I'm on the west hill looking towards the east hill, and over there I've got this zoom set to be a bit more slow, but there is the building that is the top of the East Hill lift. I don't know if it's operating at the moment. It always seems to be closed for repairs. But one of the reasons why I stopped here, I was born here, so I might as well take a video of my hometown. I'm not going to walk much further over here. The grass is very wet this morning, but there is the old town down below with the fishing fleet down at Rock and Ore, and as we pan round you can see there's the remains of Hastings Castle, one of the early Norman castles here, and there is, looking over the town this way, towards the seafront and looking towards Eastbourne. I think this is one of the most picturesque views of the town, I must admit. And that building in front of us there, just down there, that's the top of the West Hill lift. So 2 funicular railways here in Hastings. Funny enough, I thought the view would be a bit clearer from here, but I just walk a little way this way. There's a lot of people suddenly appeared over the horizon behind me, so I ain't going to spend too much time here, but just thought you might like a look round. To see some of the views you can get if you come off the seafront. But there's the old town of Hastings, and that's a little very quick view of part of the town where I was born. And somewhere over there is France, and that's all I'll say about it.
Yes, I'm glad you didn't zoom in, because we probably could get right over to France on that sodding zoom of yours, which I'm very envious of. And not only get into France, you could probably go past the Eiffel Tower, keep going until you got into Spain with your zoom. You could probably get up to Madrid, I imagine, with that zoom. And not only that, you could probably get over to Gibraltar and see them diving off or on the hang gliders and things, I imagine. So, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? That is an amazing zoom. But nice to see Hastings there, where you were born. And, of course, when you said that's where you were born, I imagined for a split second you meant on that cliff top, on the grass. And I thought, there's where he was born, that very spot.
Mommy, our little baby, Bernie, born on the top of a cliff. Born on the top of a cliff. I like being born on the top of a cliff. A little baby Bernie. When I grow up, I want to be a choice station master. I really do. Please, Mummy, please, let me go on the funicular railways, both of them, and then I get a great test to be a railway person.
And look what happened. It's all true. The life story is amazing. You see, I can almost read people's life stories just from Osmosis, which is a magazine I get every week. Has all the sort of interesting tittle-tattle that you get. Osmosis, only 35 pence a week. Worth getting, I can tell you. Thanks, Bernie. That was a great video, says Anna Jones, which is absolutely true. It was lovely to see. Simon says, I was St. Leonard's 1971. Were you? You were actually St. Leonard's himself. That's nice.
St. Leonard's with my samurai sword. This is my samurai sword. That Japanese bloke sneaked my samurai sword. Oi, you, Japanese bloke. Ha ha! I'm the Japanese bloke with the samurai sword. You can't get me because I got my not quite perfected Japanese accent. And I'm coming for you. Oh dear. Oh, blimey. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a fight between a native of St. Leonard's and a Japanese chap with an inappropriate weapon. And anything could happen, and let's hope it's not a clash of the titans. Sean James Cameron says, Mammy, how I love you, how I love you, how I love you, my dear old mammy. I didn't use any boot polish in any of that, by the way, just in case. And Torpodge Rod says, I thought Osmosis was an Egyptian. He was an Egyptian. And he was meant to toot and come in. The bloke with the very big Hummer. And the big, pyramid lift opens up, the door opens up, and that's his garage, you see. It's very nice. An old Tootie, as he was known to his friend, Tutti Frutti, really. He was a bit, his language was very fruity. These days you couldn't record him. But back then, when they were recording with holes in papyrus and getting a little musical drum to make him speak, it was all right because they could blank out the naughty words. Michael White says, I think O'Malley
is a Japanese clan. I do think you're right. Tom, is it Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat, with his samurai sword? I believe that was in the that film about the cats, you know, the Japanese cats that used to frequent old London town that Disney turned into a sort of mishmash of different things. Yes, and Alan Williams says, I remember his mummy. So I hope Tutankhamun remembers his mummy. After all, he's wearing the same clothes.
Mummy, when I grow up, can I wear all those bandages, please?
Yes, of course you can, son. You can wear as many bandages as you jolly well like. Remember, all the time you're alive, every time you go to the NHS, make sure you ask for a small roll of bandages, and so, when you die, we can wrap you up in them.
You can't wrap me up in them, Mum, because you're going to die before me.
Oh, no, I have had a glass of the elixir of life. I am destined to live forever.
Not unless you get COVID, you won't.
Oh, bollocks. You and your blooming... Get back into your little pyramid playpen and shut up. It's all good here, isn't it? Station Master's Choice says, when we left, I was 10. 10. It's a tragic time to leave anywhere at 10, isn't it? You know, you're in double figures then. You're in double figures. You've left your single figures in that one place that you were grown up, and then you're moving on in double figures. He says, but I've been in Eastbourne for the last 50 years. Golly, we still have trolley buses when I lived at... Blimey, it's going right back to the dawn of creation. Dawn of creation. Bernie, please. You know, before we know it, you'll be telling me that you knew the bloke who invented the wheel. Sean James Cameron. Oh, there he is. Carl Keegan says, hello, Richard. Aha! Me heart is hello there to you, sir. I mean, hello, Carl. We enjoyed your video. If you've just joined us, we played your video earlier on. You'll have to sort of... Hello and welcome to the Vobes. We have to go back in time. Fortunately, YouTube is basically a time machine. You can actually go back and forwards in time. You can get to the end of the show if you... And thanks for watching. Goodbye. You can actually do that if you've got the special magic scrolling finger. Scrolly, scrolly, scrolly. The lovely Julia has the scrolling fingers, as you know, when she's here singing her songs. Andrew Norris, I've read about what Andrew Norris said. Bonnie says, I left Brighton in October 1977 and returned exactly 40 years later in 2017. Is it a bit like Agatha Christie? Where did Bonnie go? She disappeared for 40 years. Nobody knew where she had gone. And there have been many documentaries to try and find out where the missing saxophone had disappeared. Was that where she learnt to play those amazing tunes on the... the saxophone. Tune in next week and we'll tell you what happened to the amazing disappearance of the 40 missing years. Bonnie has been placed under hypnosis and she does finally remember. You are falling into a deep sleep. You will go back in time 40 years ago. Where did you go, Bonnie?
I can't quite see. I can't see. Take your hand off my eyes.
Oh, sorry. It's a habit I have during hypnosis. I also whack them on their head with this big mallet if they don't comply.
I'm complying. Stop it. Don't hit me on the head. I remember where I went, but I can't tell you. I have to write it with automatic writing.
Oh, why is that?
I don't know. I can't think of a joke at the moment, but give me time.
The time is all you have. You are waking up and you will not remember a thing. Whew. And that's what happened to Agatha Christie, something similar like that, I'm sure. She disappeared. Didn't she disappear for a year or a week or 10 days or 15 months? Or was it 30 years? Or did she disappear before she wrote any books? She did something like that, didn't she? Or did she write all the books and nobody knew who wrote them? Who wrote? We've got 13 books, all in a line. Every time we go to read one of those books disappears. And then another book says, hey, I know who took that book. And just at that moment, that book kills over. And suddenly you open it up and it's blank. And there's no more words in it. Who took the book? Who took the book? Until suddenly there were 10 little books sitting on a shelf. And one by one they all disappeared until there was one. And it was The Life and Times of Richard Vobes. Not a very long reed. In fact, the reed is only planted last week, and it's growing nicely, but don't panic, it'll be plussed into a clarinet, and then you'll be able to blow your own trumpet. Thanks. Oh dear, oh dear. Where are we? Great video, Carl, says Henry Agincourt. Yes, great video, Carl. Thank you very much for that. Station Master's Choice says H for some people away means at Her Majesty's pleasure. Oh, yes. Is that where you went? 40 years. What was it, Bonnie? You can tell. You weren't Bonnie and Clyde, were you? The murderous people who jumped off the cliff and killed more people by landing on them inadvertently because you landed on a flying saucer, and the pressure of that knocked the flying saucer down to the ground, squishing a whole bunch of people and 14,000 ants. Was that you? Was that what that was? I remember reading that in the West Sussex Gazette. Anne Wright says, it sounds very painful, Sean. It is painful. Oh, yes. Oh, no, matron. Stop mucking about. Matron. Anyway, enough of this gay banter. We'll have more gay banter later on at the appropriate time. But now it's time, ladies and gentlemen. As we're fast approaching the 900th hour of this show, it is time for another video, actually. We've got two more, I believe. Two more videos to squeeze in before we have to disembowel. So let us go into Ernie's world. Do you remember Ernie? Ernie Sammet, the person I went to meet in that long format video, and I promised I would make loads of these long format videos, and then nothing. No more of those long format videos, and the audience were getting sort of very growly and grrr and wanting to sort of wring my neck as if I was a little alpaca with TB. Well, that Ernie has put together his July video. I think it was July. Yes, July in Dorset. And don't rely on all the video that you see, because there might be somebody in there mucking about. Oh, I feel so much better for that. Phew. That was lovely. Thank you very much, Ernie. Superb. The Archers, says Station Master's Choice, an everyday story of country folk, and absolutely every day it was not. That was fantastic, apart from that mad gardener that we saw in there earlier. What a lovely, lovely summing up. And of course the rain with the cat peering out pretty much summed up most people's Julys, which was a bit of a shame. But there you are. What can you do? Thanks for sending it in, Ernie. If you want to send him a video, don't forget you can. You just have to make your video roughly 2, 3, 4 minutes max. And send it to me in 720p, if possible, if you know what that means. That's the encoding thing. To richard@vobes.com via wetransfer.com. The information is in the description, but if you've never done it before, it's worth doing. You just take some video. Your local area can be very simplistic, can be very technical, very involved. We'd love to see it. Please, please, please film in horizontal mode, not vertical mode, because this is a horizontal screen, you see. It's only Instagram that do that silly horizontal rubbish. Anyway, there we are. Thank you very much. Now, let's take your phone calls.
Sat on a ferret the other day. I sat on a ferret in the month of May. I sat on a ferret. Sat on a ferret.
You are watching the Vobes Show. Call us now on 0793 4746 790. We're waiting to hear from you.
Oh, sorry, we are waiting. We are waiting with bated breaths. Basted breasts? No, bated breaths. One of the three. We're waiting with them to give us a call. In the last dredging half hour of the show, and here it is. Here is the phone call that will keep us amused for goodness knows how long. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Mr. Vobes.
It's Colonel Craig Ratty there from Fair Enougham.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. How is it down there in Fair Enougham?
It's very nice. Yes, nice weather, and yeah, it's all very well.
Good. I'm very pleased. Now you're going off to a steampunk evening tomorrow. Did you say?
No, it's a whole day.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Let me do that again. You're going to a steampunk whole day tomorrow, if I'm correct.
It's actually a whole weekend.
Oh, bloody hell. I can't do it 3 times. The audience will switch off. You're going to a steampunk event?
Yes, it is on for the weekend, but I'm just going for Saturday, yes.
And what will you go dressed up as we saw you earlier?
Pretty much, yes. Pretty much. I dug that photo out because it's the nearest I got for what I should be wearing.
And I want to know, can you ride that penny farthing?
No, that was taken in Portsmouth Dockyard when they had a steampunk or a Victorian festival a couple of years ago in the Portsmouth Dockyard, and there were some people there with some older bikes, so I thought it was a nice photograph pose. Are they the Bay City Rollers trousers you've got on there? Yeah, there's a shop in Southampton that sells various styles of folky, punk and odd designs, and I thought they seemed appropriate to wear.
Yeah, they're very nice, I have to say. There we are.
One of several pairs I have.
Are they?
Different patterns.
I'm just looking at that very strange rod that you've got in your hand, which is presumably a walking stick.
Walking cane, yes. It's been tarted up to be a bit steampunky.
And
you can pretty well do anything you like, really. It's just anything that's a bit bizarre and strange that catches the eye.
I want to know what the medals are for.
Oh, they're just made-up ones. They're,
you're giving it away now. I mean, you would have thought that Colonel Craig Ratty would have had medals for something a lot more than just made it up. Oh, goodness sake.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to wear real medals because that would be not very nice for real military people. But you can buy all sorts of steampunk world medals with all sorts of
fakery.
Strange, fakery things on them, just to give an image.
Yes.
It's all about an image.
Yes, but surely they should come with a backstory so that if somebody asks you, you can say, oh, yes, well, of course, I got that for...
I'll have to write one.
That's it, pushing a steam engine up the outer ridge of Angola.
I do have a couple which were based around the War of the Worlds Martian invasion. One of my characters is a military man, so he has some medals for fighting the Martians out in Gosford.
I think that's great. I think it would be fantastic to have maybe a video or something where you interview people who were in famous novels, but not the main characters. These would be, so if it mentioned the army, you'd interview somebody who was in the book, in the story, but was an army, so it was a bit player, so you couldn't question really, but they had some frame or framework in which to work, but within that they could make anything up.
Oh yes, that would be quite impressive, I would think.
So you could have somebody from the day of the Triffids, saying, "Well, I too woke up in that hospital, but only had one eye I could see out of, and I could only see, 3 hours a day before it hurt. And I remember the plants coming up the stairs and down the chimney and all that, and it was terrifying. I ran to my wife and children and fed them to the bloody Triffids so that they didn't eat me." It would be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, it would make a fantastic...
it would make a good backstory.
Little documentary.
Alternative line, yeah. Well, you need to find somebody that can write stories.
Yes. If only that wonderful, famous book writer who used to write those wonderful stories back in 1834, Philip Mercer, was around to write some more of those stories. He was a marvellous author. I relish the book that I've got. Nobody else seems to get hold of it, but it's a fantastic book. Sean James Cameron says, is it a bit like LARPing or is it more like laughing?
What?
I know, LARPing is, I think, live-action role-playing.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, I suppose so, yes.
And they shoot each other, but you're live-action and you're playing different roles or characters, presumably.
Yes, I mean, when we all gather together, we play odd games and we shoot at each other with Nerf guns and play various other things. But when we go to events, or, like tomorrow I'm going to Amberley, there'll be other steampunk people there, and it's just a fun day out, really.
But will you be in character? Will you talk in character? And
I will try my best.
No, but I mean, is that not you per se? But I mean, does everybody, or do just people just wear the clothes and they still go, "All right, mate, how you doing? Yeah, no, I bought this lamp the other day. It was quite nice." Or are they, a bit more interesting when they perform?
Some of them, some of us try and create a bit of a character. If somebody who's not a steampunk person comes up with kids and things, you try and do a little bit of an act with them, maybe.
But they should be thrown out if they just have an ordinary person's persona. They should not be allowed. You should have to audition to go in. I think.
No, the idea is that they call it a steampunk event, but most of these events you'll get non-steampunk people will turn up as well, and so they can interact with the steampunk characters and
yes. No, I get
maybe
that bit.
Get interested in the steampunk world or whatever world.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and I think that's how it should be. But what I'm saying is the steampunk people should not have it's like an actor, when you were in when I used to do any sort of performing, not on a stage, but in corporate events or in street theatre or anything. Once you've got the costume on, you're in character. And
yes, you are. Yes,
It should be a rule that you should never. Whereas you'd see clowns. I'd go on these events and you'd see clowns and they'd be, "Oh, ha, 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 I'm Johnny the Clown. Hello there, little child. Oh, it's all very funny. Wah, 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 woo," and all of this. And then, they'd go around the back of a bike shed or somewhere and they'd be smoking a cigarette and they'd drop out of character, or the kid walks off from them and you're with them and they just drop out of character. They're in costume, they're in sight, there's nobody immediately in front of them but on a street thing, and they just drop out of character. "Yeah, all right, you're working much, are you, at the moment? You've got much, have you tried the so-and-so age?" And then a kid will come, and suddenly it goes from this boring, monotonous, sort of beer-swilling breath, smoke-ridden, costumed individual to, "Oh, hello, little child, how lovely to see you. Are you with your parents? Oh, what a shame you could have come and seen inside of my caravan. Never mind, it's all nice. Have a good honk, honk, there we are, tap him on the head, lovely." And then as soon as the kid goes, "Anyway, I was watching EastEnders the other day, and I nearly had a part in that."
No. I think generally because we're amateurs, I think generally at the steampunk events, most of us try and keep up some form of character.
Sometimes the amateurs are better than the professionals because you're keen. You're keen. A lot of professionals, because it just turns into a bit mercenary because they're being paid. And whereas, the amateurs will just work all day long, whereas the professionals, I've worked with these professionals before, and they'll just go, well, I just do 45-minute spots, that's it. 45 minutes.
Oh, right, yes. Well, when we were invited to be part of the Victorian Christmas in the Portsmouth Dockyard for 2 or 3 years, and so there was 30 or 40 of us from our steampunk group joined in with the professionals, and generally the professionals seem to be there all the time. So it worked very well.
Oh well, that's it. I mean, it's nice when you can rub shoulders with the professionals as well, because some professionals are professional and some professionals are just in it for the cash, and then they're off to another gig because they after a while you do get a bit jaded. You do it for a living, it's your job, and it's like going out making videos for a living. Imagine doing that every single day.
Who would want to do that?
You get a bit jaded. Hello, I'm Richard Vobes. I can't be asked today. I'm doing a walk. There's a church there. It's quite old, isn't it? There's some tiles on the top, and I think there's some graves in the ground. To be honest with you, if you nip down to the local village, you'll see something similar. And there's a lot of dead people under the ground. You never get to see them. We're not allowed to dig them up. Be lovely if you could actually dig up the corpse and go, look, that's what he looks like now. Hard luck on you, mate, because I'm still alive. No, I mean, I don't think I could get away with that. I'd love to. I'd love to do that in a video. Just absolutely take the mickey of myself and those sort of walking videos and just take the piss. It would be hilarious.
On a completely different subject.
Yes. Oh, sorry. We're just changing the gears in the steer. Hang on. You can't just change it. You've got to use all the steampunk mechanism. New scenery.
I watched your video on the. You and Ricky, when you were fixing down the putting the silicon around the kitchen unit.
Yes, I bet you were impressed, weren't you, with my silicon skills?
Oh, was actually.
With
the speed you did it, unless you speeded up the.
Speed it up. Me, speed it up. Speed it up. What? Twice, 200%. Me? Would I dare to do that? I did actually. Yeah, it was the first bit was true, and then I did speed it up because I just thought people would get bored of watching. It was like icing a cake.
Silicon drying.
Yeah.
Did you glue the backsplash panel that we added onto the unit before you put the silicon round?
No.
Oh, so when you unbolt the 2 wing nuts and pull the thing out,
yes,
the back panel will fall off because it's only held on with a bit of silicon.
That was silly of me, wasn't it?
Yeah, you should have put some Gorilla Glue on to glue it in place first, but never mind.
Yeah, mine.
You can do that when you take it out.
I've got a ton of that bloody silicon that cost me 15 quid. The silicon was cheap, but the gun, it's like, oh, how much is the gun? It's £9.95, mate, plus VAT.
Well, the gun you've got for life.
Oh, good. I'm gonna dress it up and turn it into a steampunk gun. That's what I'm gonna do. You could do that, couldn't you? You could get one of the, because I mean, basically, you could respray all of that, stick a few nuts and bolts on it and a few Lego blocks, spray it all up in a sort of gun metal grey, and there you've got a steampunk thing. Especially if you could get a little smoke capsule in there. So as
that will work. I won't tell you that I've got 2 and that I could have given you one.
Oh right, thanks for that. Well, you've given me so much, to be honest with you. I get told off. People tell me off if people do too much for me. They get a bit upset.
It was great fun, and I was more than happy to.
No, because I've fleeced you. I've bent your elbow. People tell me this. They say, "Oh, how can you do it to these poor old people? You should be paying them hundreds of thousands of pounds. They're coming in to help, and you've got to stick to the story. You've got to stick. You haven't offered your help off your own bat to do it. You've been coerced by the evil Vobes."
The bill's in the post.
Oh, right. I've told you I've moved, haven't I? Now I've got the van. I'm off, mate. I changed the number plate.
Have you managed to buy your removable hinges yet?
No, I haven't as yet. It is one of those tasks that will happen at some juncture.
I'll have to come over sometime and finish it off with you.
Yes, I know. This is the ruse that I've got. I run this ruse where people will just come out the woodwork and help me because I'm a lazy twit and I daren't do anything myself because you know what it is? if I do it myself, it may look good, and then somebody rings me up and says, "Did you put any glue on the bit of the splashback? You should have done that first, because you've made a right cock up now, Vobes." So
Well, you were very good at removing the panel on the back door.
oh yes, that came off very nicely, but getting it back on, that wasn't so easy. What can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah,
Anyway.
absolutely. Well, it's lovely to talk to you. Have a lovely time tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll try and take
Get
some pictures and send a few in.
Yeah, take some video as well, because if they've got.
Have you ever been to Amberley?
Yeah, I've been to the I made a video there once.
Yeah, it's a good place.
It's a lovely place, actually. Yeah, they were having I can't remember what they were having. I think a beer festival or something there.
Yeah, they have all sorts of different events there.
I did do.
So if any of the Vobesters who live in Sussex are free, they can. I think it's ticket only, but I think you might be able to get in on the door. I don't know. It depends how busy it is.
How much? When you say how much is it?
It's the normal charge to go into the museum, which I think was £13.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. I mean, is that per person?
Yeah. It's the standard ticket charge that you would pay to go in on any day of the week. They don't charge extra because it's an event.
Oh well, that's all right then. I was just looking to see if I could find the video that I'd done, but I don't know where it went. It may be on Vimeo. I can't remember now.
If anybody in the area is interested, I mean, there's loads to see. There's all sorts of machinery, and it's like a time warp. You've got old buses and old trains and old vehicles and old electrical equipment and radios, all sorts of things there. If people look on the website, the Amberley Museum, they'll see what's there.
It is lovely. If you do get a chance to take some video, that would be fantastic.
Yep, okay then. I'll try and do that.
Just a couple of minutes on your phone or something, just to send in, especially if there's a couple of steampunk mates and a steam train behind you. It'd be lovely. We'd all appreciate. We'll give you a big clap.
I'll have a go.
Yeah.
If I work out how to do it.
It's very easy. Press a button. And look, all the other people manage to do it. I can't see why you can't do it. Or just take some pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovely to talk to you, as ever.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Look after yourself.
Yep.
And love to Tina.
Bye then.
Bye for now.
Yep,
bye.
Bye.
There we are. That is Colonel Cragratty, ready to go off and sock it to them, ladies and gentlemen. Sock it to them at the Amberley Chalk Pit Museum at the Stunk Punk. No, wait. We've got another phone call. I love it when the calls come in, but they always come in right at the end. Hello, welcome to the show.
Just a quick one, Sean from London.
Oh, Sean from London. Hello, Sean from London.
I know somebody that does this LARPing.
Oh, yeah.
The rule is you're only allowed out of your character when you go back into your van or sort of into your tent.
You're only allowed to blow the bloody doors off, is what I thought you were going to say. Is that right? Well, that's good. That is true. But here's a question I was going to ask Colonel Cragratty. The LARPing, is it just about fighting? Can you not just, live action role play suggests that you could just dress up as anything and just wander about with a bunch of others?
Well, from what I understand from what my friend told me, is when you start at the bottom. So his character was a blacksmith, because people will actually buy things. So they change their money at the gate, and they're given sort of like plastic money, but then it gets exchanged back at the end. So he did this sewer blacksmith role, and he was selling things to everybody else. And then over 3 years, he then went up through sort of, who are the ranks. So he didn't get involved with the fighting.
Oh, I see. So the trick then is not to be a fighter,
no,
but to actually do something which you can flog. So you can flog stuff to people, and then when you go out the gate, you go, normally everybody has a tenner and they change it into 10 plastic coins. I've got 552,000 of them. Could I have that changed now, please? I've been doing this for 50 years. I'd like to change it up because I want to pay my mortgage off.
And you aren't allowed... Well, after 3 years, they got to know him, and he was allowed to take a camera in and do a bit of filming. But usually they don't allow things like that.
Why?
What?
Why can't you bring a camera in and film it?
Because when you come out of your accommodation, you are allegedly back in 1066 or something. And they didn't have phones then.
Oh, see. Unless you, of course, you're a Time Lord.
Well, yes. But maybe you could get away with it.
You could say, well, I'm actually the Doctor.
he gave up the whole thing. He just couldn't be doing with all the mud.
Ah, yes. Is there a lot of mud, is there?
Well, they usually hold them in the winter.
Oh, that's stupid, isn't it?
But I thought that was a good thing. That if you are going to get involved, get a trade, and then you can sell things to everybody else.
Yeah. So LARP is LARPing a brand name that has this book of rules. So it's not just a generic live action role play, as in it's not just a term that describes what's happening, like actors walking about in costume might be another way of describing.
You develop your own story, what you want to do. So
right.
You develop your own backstory.
But there's obviously rules and an etiquette and certain things. So what I'm trying to say is LARPing, is it run by an organisation that says this is how it must be done? Because you've obviously given me some hints at that.
And apparently the LARPing community has its own court.
Oh,
so if you did something, like if you had a fight and you hit somebody,
right.
You'd be pulled up in front of the beak.
Oh, right. Can you? So it's a bit like Sharia law then. It's like their own law within the legal realms of our own country. They've got their mini...
Get the samurai sword out.
So to get that Irish samurai sword Japanese fighter out again. Cool, blimey.
But anyway, I'm going to go. But what are seeing as you won't be on for next week?
Yeah, that's true. I'm having a week off.
I'm just thinking, give a shout out to the big event that's coming up.
What big event is that?
The walk-in.
Oh yes, that big event. Yes, thanks very much for reminding me. Yes, it is actually written on here in invisible ink. Only I haven't got any lemon juice to make it come out. But thank you. Yes, I will do that in a second. Right, just remind myself.
Because I've been told you've got a very good video coming up next.
Yes, we do. We have a very good video coming up to finish the show. I saved it to the best till last.
Well,
it is a bit loopy, but
I will see you a week Saturday.
Yeah.
And I plan to go and buy some sausages from Suitors.
Sausages. Lovely. Well, suit yourself.
Ta-ta for now.
Yeah, ta-ta. There we go. That's Sean James Cameron calling in from London, having a bit of a LARP with us. And he did remind me just before we put the last video on, which is coming up, and thanks, Sean, for reminding me about this. Of course, you are invited, ladies and gentlemen, to take part in the next Bold Explorer walking event. You don't have to dress up as anything. Just come as yourself. You can bring a dog if you so wish, as long as it's on a lead. And you bring plenty of water, although there is a river for it to go swimming in, so it's perfectly fine, and there's plenty of shade along the route. It is on the 21st of this month, and we are meeting in the Pulborough High Street car park at 10:30 for an 11 o'clock start. There is a train service, but there are buses and what do they call them? Reconverted buses, because the trains are a bit wobbly on that day. I think there's some sort of blockade or something going on in, I don't know what that means. It sounds like a load of bandits over at Horsham or Three Bridges. Perhaps they've nicked one of the bridges. That's why there's a bit of a blockade. Who knows? But Pulborough Station, you can walk from there. It's about a 15-minute walk from there to the car park, but follow the signs if there are any, or get a map, something like that, or look on Google Maps, probably the easiest. 10:30 we go down to the RSPB, which is very nice, down at Pulborough Brooks, to have a look at some birds. And if there's no women about, we'll just look at the feather things. We're going to have a picnic, which will be quite nice, and bring your own lunch, because nothing is provided in this. It's £1.50 to park your car in the car park. I wouldn't park it in the street because there's lots of busy cars and I don't think there's anywhere else to park. But it's a bit of fun. It should only take a 2-hour round trip with a bit of nosh, so it's not going to eat into your day. And you get to meet the lovely Julia in the flesh. And I've yet to do that, so be interesting to see her. Anyway, there we are. That's the plug for the big event. Meanwhile, walking already and getting himself spruced up on the London Loop in the video box, it's Sean.
Beautiful. And a pleasure to see the River Cree again. Certainly need to be fit to come this way. So I've just tried to climb over these sticks, and I've been given confidence that it is possible. So has this always been here?
No, it was only about a week or possibly 2 ago when the high winds caused these trees to fall down. So before that, this path was really quite doable, a nice easy walk.
But now it's a bit of an obstacle.
But at that age, they love it. They love the hurdling over the tree trunk.
So what are you doing down here?
Well, they found a little bit of a hollow in that tree trunk,
Yeah.
and they're creating a potion made out of blackberries that they've just picked along the pathway, and a few leaves. And they're trying to tell me it's rocket with balsamic dressing, but I've
Well,
I've not tried it.
There must be a goblin or two in this part of the woods, I must say.
This is where I have actually fallen over this. But
Well, what a beautiful part of the loop that was, and very unexpected, especially if it's only just happened in the last few weeks. But like I said before, it's an absolutely stunning spot here, and if you look across the stream there, you can see where the trunk came down. So I was just told once we get past this little bit, it gets a lot better. Good job I got my boots on. I know you're all sat there going, fall in. And I wouldn't mind falling in, but it's the camera that I'm more worried about. But it's great to see kids out and enjoying the countryside rather than being stuck indoors by a computer. Will the rest of the loop live up to this? Only time will tell. Well, that looks fun, I must say. Nice and cool on a hot day.
Yeah, lovely. Just there's the big slide.
Well, that was an interesting little stretch. But it's good to be back out in the open. And I may stop for a cup of tea somewhere. I've just seen that a walking group has gone the way that I want to go, and there'll be too many voices for the video, so let's just have a quick look. This is called Foots Cray Meadows. Like, who needs to go on holiday when you've got this on your doorstep? And look how big it is. Welcome to Foots Cray Meadows, and this is a map. So we are here by the 5 Arch Bridge, and I'm going to continue down the side of the river to Mitchell's Field. Well, I've given in. I've decided to sit down and have a quick cup of tea before I carry on.
A sensible thing to do there. Sensible thing to have a nice cup of tea. And do you know, I think I'm going to make a nice cup of tea once I've finished the show. Brilliant stuff, Sean. Really enjoy these London loops. It's quite surprising because as soon as you say London, you just think it's automatically full of carbon monoxide and very inappropriate buildings. But actually, as you proved it, it's actually quite joyous and lovely to see. So we look forward to the next one, which, by the way, will probably, I'm hoping, will be next Friday. For there will be no show Monday or Wednesday. I'm having a bit of time out. For 4 years, I've been doing the Bald Explorer every day, and I've been doing the Naked Englishman for every day, pretty much every day, the Naked Englishman, and then this thing, whatever it is, the Vobes show. Pretty much, and I've just, I've had enough. Goodbye. No, wait, hang on a sec. Just a second. There will be coverage, though. There will be some videos going up. It is, next week, by the way, is rerun week. I've picked out some of the early videos that I did, and they are rerunning. I don't think the early videos, when I first started, had any adverts on them, so they've not earned me a penny. So I've now put them out, and I think there are some adverts. They might earn something, you never know. It's rerun week next week. So Monday to Friday, there will be some videos, and I'm hoping to be working on in the week some other videos, so I'm not actually taking time. I said I'm taking time off. I'm not actually I'm working on some longer format videos, but I just wanted the non-distraction of having to worry about. So if I go overnight in my camper van one night, or I do a long day somewhere and come home, whatever it might be, I just want that time not to have to think about it, so I can get up before the sun, right? Which now is, the sun doesn't get up till about 9 o'clock. It's we're getting into early nights and late mornings, which is a shame. So I will be working on stuff, and you will see that probably. I've already recorded. This is how mad it's been. I have recorded tomorrow's video and the Sunday chat, and I have scheduled all next week with videos. So you will get something. So you won't miss me. There'll be no excuse to go and tune into somebody else. I'm not having that. Give you an inch, you'll take a mile. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. It's been great fun. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed doing it. We've missed the lovely Julia, but she's been busy with the kids tonight. And as you know, she's normally on a Monday. But she probably won't be here next Friday, I don't suppose. But she'll be on the following Monday, no doubt. Thanks to Colonel Craig Ratty for the phone call, for Sean James Cameron for ringing in, and also Sean for that delightful video that we just saw. Ray of Hope for the wonderful Telstar 60s music that we heard. To Bernie Hastings on the top of the world where he was born. To Carl Keegan for his marvellous look at Blackrock Castle there in Cork. To Ernie for his wanderings in Dorset. And to you for watching. Thanks to Julia and Judith for moderating, and the mysterious invisible man who gave us a call halfway through the show. It's nice to have heard from you too, but I'll edit you out from the video, have no fears. That's it from me. Take care, look after yourselves, all the best. I'll see you soon in one form or another. Look after yourselves, and ta-ta for now.